The response to my YouTube broadcasts have been phenomenal this week. I think it's really getting out there, this mindset, this perspective. I appreciate everybody's comments and emails and kind words. And one of the emails that I got was in response to my last YouTube broadcast talking about school not being like real life. And one thing I want to point out is that I know this is a really hard concept for people to grasp, because for a lot of people, admitting that school isn't necessary is almost like saying that they didn't have to go through all that they went through all of those years to learn or to educate themselves. And that's a hard thing to swallow. People really want to say that the next generation has to do what they had to, what they had to go through. And so it's kind of people's own issues when they have a hard time grasping this. So I understand that, and I hope everyone that's been harmed from their childhood and from schooling experiences can be healed from that, because it really is unnecessary. I know not everybody is in a position to be able to do this, to be able to facilitate their child's learning. Sometimes there's two parents working outside the home, and so I know it's not obtainable for everybody. There is a place for schools, and I respect that. But what I'm here to say, I'm here to share, is that for those parents that want this for their children, you can have it. You can totally do it. It's, in fact, the most rewarding, incredible, joyous life anybody could ever imagine, being able to facilitate your child's interests. And they really do learn as a side effect of living a rich, full life alongside of you. And it does take some work on the parents' part. I mean, I think people think that, the term unschooling means not doing anything school-related, but it's not uneducating. It's not not being there. In fact, it's very hands-on. It's taking the responsibility to facilitate your child's learning. When they have an interest in something, giving them all the different resources and options in your community, in your home, in your everything that you can attain to, and give it to your child, and to be alongside of them to help them. And so I realize that not everyone's in a position to do this, but the response that I've gotten has been great, and people are really interested in an alternative to the traditional schooling model. Change is a really hard thing for people. Change is one of the hardest things for most people to grasp, and I understand that there's a process to change. The first step in change is opposition, and I realize that I'm going to get that for putting myself out there. I didn't invent this mindset. A lot of people, in fact, 100,000 people at least all over the country are unschooling. So it's not something that just this really small radical few are doing. It's getting out there. I just happen to be a spokesperson for it. I'm somebody who believes really strongly in it, and so I'm going to be out there promoting it. So I realize that I expect opposition, and that's okay, because I embrace it. I say that that's the first step. So when I get it, I almost feel good, because I know that the first step to change is opposition. Now, the next step is acceptance, and I know that's coming too, and a lot of people are accepting this and embracing it. So whoever's watching this right now, just know that it's okay however you're feeling about this. It's new ideas are kind of make people uncomfortable, and especially parents, that have gone through a process that they really think their child should go through because they went through. Now, by putting your child's needs first and, embracing this, and if your child's having a hard time in school, you don't have to do it, and you don't have to do school at home. I think most people don't even consider homeschooling because they think that they have to do what schools do at home. They have to go by a curriculum and be their child's teacher, but not at all. You don't have to do that. You have to be the one to point them in the direction that they want to go or that they're drawn to. Now, I like to think of Olympic athletes, for example. Why is it that in our culture, we're very competitive in this culture? So why is it that Olympic athletes, homeschooling is okay, and putting their passions, whatever sport they're in or whatever first? Why is that okay? But people just can't grasp it for anything else, and also Hollywood stars, child actors, for example, they are homeschooled. They're allowed to put their passion for acting first. Now, why is competitive sports and acting okay in our culture for, as far as a priority for children, but anything else isn't? Now, what if your child wants to play guitar? Why shouldn't that come first? Everything else could come secondary, because everyone has a purpose. Everything has everybody has something that they're drawn to and that they're meant to do, and they should totally perfect that. And reading and math and all these other wonderful tools are just part of life. It's not separate from life. By just living life, you use these tools and you get better at them. So I just want people to be able to know that letting their child chase their passions is a wonderful way to go, and there's many options out there for learning. So open your mind to new possibilities. Anyone can email me anytime, or you can visit my website, Unschooling America, to learn a little bit more about the support that's out there for this. And yeah, thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you soon. Bye.